Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on the first video in a new video series that I'm putting together to create traveler's notebooks. Now this is the cute traveler's notebook cover that we're going to be making in today's video, and at the end of the series I've got a special treat. I'm going to be doing a giveaway of all of the items that we're going to be making in this series. So this traveler's notebook and all the goodies that go with it. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. That will be a couple of the things that you'll need to do to get into that giveaway. And pardon me for the coughing. My throat's not really too good this morning, but I want to get this video finished up and out for you. So first thing we're going to want to do is pick some pretty paper for a cover and then cut that down to size. We're going to be cutting this sheet down to 8.5 inches by 6. And you notice I flipped it over because I want to make sure that I get it cut so that the flowers are going to be in the right direction and such on the front. This paper was just so pretty, and I'm kind of going through a pink thing right now, so I really like that. And when you fold it over, you see what the front's going to look like. I believe heavily in double, triple checking everything to make sure it's going to look the way that I want it to, because it is real easy to cut something in the wrong direction or have it not look the way that you want it to. Anyway, next step is we're going to laminate this piece of paper. I used 5mm because that was what I had handy. I do recommend using 3mm laminate so it doesn't pull away as easily from the paper. When you fold a laminated sheet of cardstock or paper, it will tend to pull away slightly from that fold. That's normal, and you'll sometimes get air pockets in there, but it's not going to be as obvious or as it doesn't happen quite as much with a thinner laminating sheet. So on this one I did use the 5mm. It still looks real good in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my laminator. I've got it heated to the hotter setting so that it hopefully will get everything adhered really well the first run through. I sometimes run it through a couple of times to get rid of any kind of air pockets that may be around whatever it is I'm laminating. And that's something you just learn with practice. And I love the way things look when they first come out of the laminator. Always surprises me. I don't know why, but it just turns out just so pretty. It's not just a piece of paper anymore. At this point though, I did realize that I had forgotten to score the paper before running through the laminator. So I'm going to try it again with a second piece of cardstock. I picked this other one with all these pretty pink and purple flowers, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that one down to the same size. And then we're going to go ahead and score that. You'll want to score it at the midpoint and then a 1/2 inch on each side. So it's going to be on this one that we're doing, it's going to be at 3 3/4, 4 1/4, and 4 3/4. So that is the midpoint, which is 4 1/4, and then 1/2 inch to either side. And this is going to provide for the part that's going to bend as the binding. Another thing that this helps is you can see whether or not you cut it straight if you fold it all down, because if part of it's not straight, once you've laminated it, you're kind of stuck with it. So here I'm just trimming the edge that didn't, for whatever reason, did not cut as straight. I probably wasn't holding the paper in flat against that top bar when I was originally cutting it, but that's easily fixable. So now that that is scored and folded on the score marks, we're going to go ahead and run this sheet through the laminator just like we did the other one. And this is just so pretty. I was checking there to see if I could run 2 through, but don't have quite enough space to do that. So let's get the laminator back out, and we're going to run that that sheet through. So here's a question for you guys. Which of the 2 covers do you like better? Do you like this one that I used to finish up this traveler's notebook with, or do you like the other one that only has the couple of flowers? Go ahead and leave a comment down in the box letting me know which one you like better. So that is almost done. And the next step that we're going to do is we're going to trim the excess laminate off. So I get back out my paper trimmer from Fiskars. I'm actually lining up the edge of the paper with a line that's on my trimmer so that I get about 1/8 of an inch all the way down and lined up with that mark, because the laminate isn't necessarily going to be straight or parallel with your paper line, so you'll want to actually cut parallel to the paper line, not the edge of the laminate. So I'm just trimming the excess off on all of that. Quick and easy. And I'm going ahead and doing that for the other one as well. Like this one better, I think, but I ran out of elastic. Just got some, but I did run out of elastic, so I didn't get a chance to get that one finished up yet. Okay, so now that that is done, we're going to score over where those initial score lines were. Now, it's not going to be where you're going to be able to score it. Let's just say when you put it into the page, they're not going to line up with the original score lines on if you try to measure it out. So you're going to want to line the score lines up with where you can run it through the scoreboard. The reason for this is we did have about that little bit of excess on the side, which is about 1/8 of an inch. So it is going to make it so it doesn't line up quite correctly. So you're going to have to line your paper up with the score lines to be able to score it. And you see, I'm not really having a whole lot of trouble folding on those score lines here. It is a little difficult because of how thick the laminate was, but having scored it prior to running it through the machine makes it pretty easy to fold there. And then we're going to just round the corners. Now you could have rounded the corners on the paper as well, which I think is probably a better idea. But rounding it after it's on the laminate does help out a lot, because those corners can poke you and can scratch you and it can hurt. And I don't want you to hurt yourself from those corners of laminate. So now I'm going to go ahead and try scoring on the page that did not have the score lines done previously. So this is the one we started off with the first time around. See that I'm lining up with the edge of where the paper is, not the edge of the laminate, and it's pretty tough to even score through this. and then it's real tough to even try to fold. So I decided I'm going to score it again on the opposite side, lined up with those score marks that I did before. That does make it a little bit easier, but as I mentioned, it's a lot easier if you score it first before you laminate it, and then again afterwards. That way you've got, and of course fold on those score lines when it's before it's laminated. I think you know what I mean, but again, all the instructions for all of this step by step is going to be in my blog post, and that blog post link is going to be listed below, so you can go back to that for reference. Yeah, this was a little tough for me to fold over. And those both look really, really pretty. So again, go ahead and put down in the comments which of the two that you like better, the one with just a couple of flowers or the one with a lot of flowers. That way I kind of have an idea what you guys' preferences are going forward for some future videos. So next what we're going to do is we're going to punch some holes in this so that we can put the elastic in for the binding. Now I used my memory keepers punch for this. You can use just a pokey tool or an awl for that, but you're going to want to put 3 different holes down at the bottom, lined up about 1/4 of an inch in, and lined up with those 3 score lines. And we're going to do the same thing at the top. I've got detailed instructions as to where you are supposed to poke the holes so that you have an idea of where to line those up, all on my blog. We're also going to be later on poking a hole at the center point of the middle one. This is going to be for the elastic that basically for the elastic closure. And again, I've got this all written out and diagrammed in my blog, so you'll want to check that one out. So next we're going to need to run the elastic that's going to hold the signatures and other goodies in the traveler's notebook. You want to leave each of the cords a little loose to make it easier to slide everything in or out. So you're going to want to start at the bottom inside center hole and thread the cord inbound. I do have all these instructions on my blog, and I'll put them in the description below as well. So you start at the bottom, run the cord in, and then go to the top and go through the center hole there and go out. So this puts a cord on the inside of your planner. Then you're going to go to the left side on that same end and go inbound. Go directly below that one to the opposite end and go out. That puts a second cord in. And then you're going to have to continue to adjust these to make sure you have enough cord there, because we are going to go back and forth 4 times total. So you'll see that I'm adjusting that. And then you're going to want to go in from the outside through that, on that same end. You're going to want to go in through that remaining hole that you see there. I think I'm just, at that point I was just trying to decide, do I have enough cord and do I need to readjust or not. So I gave myself a little extra there. So you'll see that now I'm going on the outside in at that remaining hole at that end. And because the holes that I punched were bigger than the cord that I'm going through, I didn't have to use a needle or anything for the majority of this. So now again I am running to the opposite end on the inside, so now I have a third. And then on this one, it is a little difficult to get that through on that center hole because we already have a cord coming through that one. So I did have to go back and get a needle for that. And because this cord is so thick, it didn't really want to go through my needle, so I had a little difficulty with that. You'll have less trouble if you use a thinner cord. Okay, there we go. So now just thread back through there. So you've got 2 pieces of cord going through the center. And what this one's going to do is give us a place that we're going to be able to tie it off at. Again, the hole is smaller with the cord and everything than the end of my needle with the cord and everything. So I did have a little bit of trouble with that. And now I'm readjusting the cord again so that that tail end that we have is only a little more than halfway down the inside. We're going to be tying this one off, and I don't really want to waste too much of this elastic cord. So I'm readjusting everything, leaving all those cords a little loose. Okay, and now we're going to be able to basically cut off a little extra. You do want to pull the other end of the cord, this part that's still attached to the spool, so that it has a little more than halfway through. And then we're going to need to send that one back through that center hole as well. Since that's the hole that we started with, you're going to want to go around the other cord that's there. You see how we've got it from the right side to the left side? You're going to want to go around that so that holds the cord in place so it doesn't come all the way through and everything fall apart. And it also makes it so we'll be able to tie this last one off, creating a fourth cord to go through for you to hold in your signatures. And it does look real clean and everything on the outside with that horizontal line across the end of the notebook. So you want to go ahead and tie this one off. Again, making sure that it is a little bit loose. You know, it needs to be taut, but not too taut, so that you're going to have room. And of course, you can go back and adjust it, which I decided to do there. I tied it the first time a bit too loose. So struggling there a little bit to untie it. Once that's untied, I'm going to go ahead and just retie it just a little bit tighter than what I had before. Like I said, you do want it to be, oh, and I decided to tie it differently. Instead of just tying the end, I'm trying to do this knot instead. It does work better, and I think it's a little bit cleaner. It feels nicer. And then just trim off the ends, because you don't need that extra hanging around in there. Next, we're going to need to put a cord to, to do the holder, to hold this shut. So what we're going to do is we're going to poke a hole in the center of that center line, of that last vertical line. And this hole is a bit smaller than the ones that we punched with the hole punch. So I am going to have to use a needle to get that through there. And as I mentioned before, if you're using a thinner elastic, it's not going to be as difficult as what I'm having here. That was the only elastic that I had at the time, so I have since then gone and bought some 1/8 inch instead of this. Actually, it's 0.07 or 0.08. It's a thin-ish cord that I got at Michael's. That's in the kids section. They didn't have the cord I was looking for in the jewelry section like I expected. So if you're looking for that for yours, that's where I got mine for a different. For what I'm going to be making in the future. I'm going to make a few of these. So now that I've got that through there with a loop, you do need a loop through there. I've got the loop tied around the outside, and that looks like it's about right. So now I can go ahead and cut off the excess from the spool. And I decided I want a little bit more space there. And in this one then, once we get that done, and I do apologize for being off screen, I didn't realize that I was. And I remeasured to make sure that it was the way I want it to be. I do apologize for all the coughing. I am having a hard time. I think there's just too much pollen or something in the air here today. I'm in Florida, and oak pollen and dust and lots of different things drive my sinuses crazy. So that plus the asthma does not help when I'm trying to do a video and get to chat with you guys. So I've already trimmed it off of the spool, and I'm tying the edge in, so there is going to be a knot on the inside of the notebook, and that way you can loop the elastic around the outside, and now you've got a completed holder for your notebook. So all you have to do now is just add in your notebooks or whatever that you're going to be putting in this cover for your traveler's notebook. I did have some that I already had pre-made for this, so I'm going ahead and I'll put some in there. On the next video, I'll be showing you how you can make your own inserts for your notebook, and that's going to be super fun, and you can customize it to whatever you want. And these were super easy to make. I think they turned out really, really, really cute. So once those are in, you've got your completed traveler's notebook, so you can customize it however you want. Next thing I want to go over with you guys, now that our little traveler's notebook is done, is what do you need to do to sign up to be in that giveaway. First of all, you'll want to watch each of the videos to the entirety, all the way to the end. You'll want to like each of the videos, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment in the comment section on each of these videos. At the end, I will be selecting someone to win a package that's going to include the traveler's notebook and, of course, all of the inserts and all of the goodies that I'm going to be making over the next few weeks for that. Be sure to check back often. I will be sending out reminders and such, so if you're on my email list, you'll get that. Thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful crafty day.